reason, and this is a big reason why I don't subscribe to our fellow, my fellow colleagues when it comes to asking the white man for anything. Because I'm going over this and I'm looking at my fellow colleagues, at the experts, and they keep saying that we have to ask them for something. We have to ask them for equal rights. That's inalienable. As a human being, I should have equal rights. But as I've indicated to you before, and I will indicate to you again, they're not going to give you equal rights unless you have equal rights in your own neighborhoods. In other words, if you don't kill each other in your own neighborhoods, if you strengthen your neighborhoods where things like what happened just now in Wisconsin don't need a police presence, where we need to come together and deal with our own problems, that the best way to defund the police is not to use the police. It's not to need the police to come into our neighborhoods to engage in law and order. The law and order should be ours. That's our job. Today's session is going to be on attitude. My fellow colleagues, when they tell you, when other experts other than myself tell you that we need to march to ask for something, they're decreasing your attitude. That's what this session's about. It's about attitude. When you walk down the street, okay, and you're in another gang's neighborhood, you know that you got to have a certain attitude. When you're rapping, you have to have a certain attitude. Okay, as a professor in a university, in a classroom, he has a particular attitude, a particular state of mind. Here, I know the subject matter. I know I make the curriculum. I know the subject matter. I want my students to ask me questions because I'm an expert, so I can give them clear and coherent answers, succinct answers to their questions. And if my answers to their questions are not satisfied to their standards, to their state of mind, not only will I challenge them, but I ask them to challenge me. So that, okay, let's have a discussion. Let's write about it. Let's go over it together. Because sometimes a student could come in and have a different point of view. A different point of view than mine. Has a point of view that gives them a better assessment of a particular theory, of a particular state of mind. And so therefore I might need to say, well, wait a minute, I never thought of it that way. You see what I'm saying? That's what you're getting from me. If I'm asking for something from you, two things happen. One, I've given, for the most part, I'm giving not only, let me back up. If I ask something of you, what I'm doing is two things. I'm stepping back and assessing your point of view, and at worst, I'm giving up my point of view, or I'm saying that my point of view is not as thoughtful or not as engaging as your point of view. Okay? That's when we're talking about theory. That's when we're talking about our states of mind. But now when we're talking about human rights, if I'm talking about something that happened to George Floyd, something that just happened to a young man in Wisconsin, no, I'm not going to ask you for that. I'm not going to ask you to stop coming into my neighborhood and stop killing me. Because the fact of the matter is that when it comes to the police, we know the history. I'm sure you've heard it. We know the history that it was to keep white, rich folk safe from runaway black folk. For black folks who decided that they were going to stand up. Turner, Bogle, okay? Paul Bogle. These kind of people, that's what they were created for. That's what the police was created for. And so their mindset from that time to now has changed very little. I'm going to arm my police officers, the puppet, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm going to make America great again because black and brown people are threatening my buffer. We talked about that before. Okay? That's what they're there for. Your attitude towards people like that, if it's a asking attitude, let me show you what you're going to get. On a moment. Sorry. Okay? That's what you're going to get. I asked them for something, yeah, they're gonna give you something. They're going to give you the back of their hand. That's what they're going to give you. Your attitude mandates the kind of person that you are. Your attitude tells people that you are not going to stand for injustice. I've been in the court system. I thought my way out of prison. Some black men think they way into prison. I can tell them. I could tell the district attorney, and I could tell the judge, look, this is just this game you playing. Nah, Okay, you give me so much time in a halfway house because I broke the law, but at the end of the day, you all are part of it too. The black men that are in prison now on drug charges, most of them haven't killed anybody, they just sold drugs. I know a young man who sold somebody a bad batch of heroin. They died. One. How many did Purdue Pharma kill? The opioid epidemic, the opioid crisis. How many people have died? That's kind of been overshadowed because of what's happening to us black men. But I'm here to remind you that them drug dealers killed more people than any black man that sold crack on the street. But it's okay for them to throw them in jail. But how many people, how many doctors, drug dealers, drug professionals have gone to jail? How many of them serving time? 20 years, 10 years, 20 years, life. For killing all these people. Oh, that's right, they're professionals. When you understand the hypocrisy, when you understand what the law is, when you read books, when you understand their mindset, you no longer need to ask them for or have them instill on you a particular attitude. You build your own attitude. In conclusion, let me show you one more exhibit. This exhibit hangs in my house, right in my living room. Okay? Zen masters, martial arts grandmasters, Bruce Lee, okay, talk about this. And I have it, I found a poster and I have it hanging up. As a matter of fact, it was in a place that I worked and I begged my boss for it and I live my life by it. You go ahead and put your cross up in your house of Christ dying. You go ahead. I ain't with that. Go ahead, read it. Nice and big. Big poster. Okay? See that water? See what it says? And don't you tell me that because I'm speaking in a forceful way that I don't have a positive attitude. As a matter of fact, I have a positive attitude because the need to free your mind, to help you think, not to be asking from the puppet to free my people, not to be asking, not to know that Bannon, Breitbart, all of these things are not conducive to you asking from them. Okay, go ahead and march on Washington. If Trump gets in office again, guess what? Those marches aren't going to mean a damn thing.